to 9 Lives of Fear. There's a lie the desert tells at sunset. From a distance, it looks empty. Harmless. Just sand, silence, and sky. But when the light turns gold, when the heat loosens its grip and the shadows stretch too long, the desert changes. It grows aware. Travelers speak of mirages. Guides warn you not to wander. What they don't tell you is that, for a few minutes each evening, the desert stops pretending there's nothing there. This is the story of a British photographer who went searching for beauty during golden hour. And discovered something watching from beneath the sand. Something that only appears between day and night. And something that does not like being seen. Today's story is called Dubai's Dunes, My Terrifying Encounter at Sunset. Listen carefully, because once the light fades, some things don't stay behind.
It began with light. Not the harsh, white glare of noon, but the golden hour, the fleeting magic when the desert ignites in molten hues and the world feels suspended between dreams and reality. I'd flown from London to Dubai chasing that light. As a photography student at the University of the Arts, I'd spent years obsessed with capturing the sublime, the moments where nature and human perception blur into something almost spiritual. Dubai, with its glass spires punching into the sky and its endless golden deserts swallowing the horizon, promised both extremes, the future and the primal, the eternal and the ephemeral. I wanted to photograph the contrast. The dunes at sunset, I was told, were like standing at the edge of time. My drone hovered above the Rub al Khali, the empty quarter, the vast, unrelenting stretch of sand that bleeds south from Dubai into Oman. Through the monitor, the desert glowed like liquid amber, waves of sand sculpted by winds older than cities. The sun, dipping low, cast elongated shadows that danced like ghosts across the dunes. Everything was soft, perfect, serene. The camera recorded it all in 8K glory, every ripple, every glint, the silence almost audible. I'd planned this trip meticulously. I arranged a tour outside the usual luxury desert safaris, opting instead for solitude. I told the rental company I was scouting locations for a film project. They gave me a dune buggy, directions, and a stern warning. Don't go past the red markers. Sandstorms come fast. I didn't plan to. But the dunes had a way of calling you deeper. For now, though, I stood at the edge, mesmerized. The contrast between Dubai's modernity and this ancient expanse was jarring. One moment you're in air-conditioned skyscrapers with robot waiters, the next, you're standing where Bedouin nomads once walked under starlight, guided by constellations unchanged for millennia. And yet, something about the desert unnerved me. Maybe it was the stillness. Not just quiet, absence. No birds. No rustle of lizards. Not even the whisper of wind, though the sand was moving. It shifted beneath my boots, almost imperceptibly, as if the ground itself were breathing. I turned off the drone and let the silence press in. That's when I first saw it. A distortion, just beyond the next dune, near the base of a ridge. A ripple in the air, like heat haze, but wrong. It flickered, like a screen glitching. I rubbed my eyes. When I looked again, it was gone. Just the light, I told myself. Golden hour illusions. Heat plays tricks. And yet, I couldn't shake the feeling that something had been there. Later, back at the modest hostel near Al Maktoum Airport, I uploaded the footage to my laptop. The review was everything I'd hoped for. The colors were rich and textured, honeyed light spilling across undulating sands, the sky bleeding into violet and gold. I selected a few stills for my social media account, adding the caption, Dubai's dunes at golden hour, where time stops, or begins. Within hours, it had hundreds of likes. Then came the comments. Most were the usual, stunning. Bucket list material. You're so brave venturing out there alone. But one reply stood out. At Desert Whisperer, that figure behind you, did you see it? I frowned. Figure. I pulled up the full resolution image and zoomed in. And my blood turned to ice. Behind me, just barely visible at the edge of the frame, half buried in the rise of a dune, was a shape. Not an animal. Not a rock. It was humanoid. Tall, too tall, its limbs elongated, its head disproportionately small. It had no face, just a smooth, shadowed oval where features should be. And it was looking at me. Impossible. I'd been alone. The drone footage showed nothing but empty dunes. I deleted the comment and shut the laptop. But I couldn't forget it. The next day, I started digging. Searching online, I found dozens of similar posts, tourist photos, drone captures, even shaky phone videos, tagged with #Dubai Desert, #Golden Hour UAE, #Dunes at Dusk. Most were standard travel shots. But scattered among them were anomalies. One photo from a French couple showed two silhouettes standing at the crest of a dune, arms raised, backs to the camera. Their proportions were wrong, too thin, fingers stretching unnaturally long, like spiders' legs. Another video, filmed near Al Ain, showed a brief flicker in the sandstorm haze, a robed, faceless figure gliding across the dune, dissolving as the sun dipped below the horizon. None of the people who posted them seemed to notice. Or if they did, they dismissed it as pareidolia, seeing patterns where none exist. But some didn't. In an online forum discussion titled "Are the Dubai Dunes Haunted?", dozens of users shared stories. Took a desert safari last month. Everything was fine until sunset. Our guide refused to go past a certain point. Said the Bedouins called it Ulkail al-Sama, the dark horses. Spirits of the buried. I saw one. Clear as day. Stood at the edge of the dune, watching. When I pointed, my friend said there was nothing there. But I know what I saw. There's energy there. The sand remembers. Old things sleep beneath it. And they wake at twilight. One comment sent a chill down my spine. They only appear in the golden hour. Between 6:13 and 6:47 p.m., give or take. That's when the veil thins. The ancients called it the breath between days. I scoffed at first. Ghost stories. Urban legends wrapped in desert mysticism. But that night, I dreamed. I stood in the dunes at sunset. The sky burned red. The sand beneath my feet pulsed, breathing. And ahead of me, rising from the dune like figures carved from shadow and dust, were them. Tall. Silent. Watching. One turned its head, slowly, unnaturally, until I felt its gaze pierce me. I woke in a cold sweat. And on the floor beside my bed, my phone screen was lit. My drone gallery had opened by itself. It was on the photo of the figure. I went back the next day. No rational explanation. No proof. No plan, just a compulsion. A need to know. This time, I brought more gear, a high-sensitivity infrared camera, a voice recorder, even a compass, though I didn't know why. Maybe because old myths always mention tools. Iron wards them off. Salt blinds them. A mirror shows their truth. I took the dune buggy farther than I should have. Past the red markers. Past the last tire tracks. The desert grew deeper, wilder. The dunes towered like frozen waves. The air thickened, as if I were descending into a lung. I set up the tripod at 5:58 p.m. The golden hour began. The light softened. The sand glowed like embers. The silence deepened. I activated the IR camera. Switched on the recorder. And waited. At 6:14 p.m., the temperature dropped. Not gradually, instantly. A cold front with no warning, like stepping into a freezer. My breath fogged despite the heat. Then the sand stirred. Not wind. Not natural. The dunes rippled from beneath, rising into spiraling columns that coiled into humanoid forms. Dust clung to them like shrouds, swirling around limbs too long, joints bending in impossible ways. They emerged from the sand. 3 of them. Taller than any man, nearly 8 feet high. Their heads tilted forward, featureless except for hollow sockets where eyes should be. Their arms hung low, fingers dragging through the sand. They wore tattered robes stitched with crude geometric symbols that pulsed faintly on the infrared feed. I couldn't move. Couldn't scream. One turned toward me. And spoke. Not with sound, but inside my head. "You see us." I gasped and dropped the recorder. They didn't advance. They only watched, heads tilting in unison, as if studying me, as if I were the anomaly. Then the tallest raised a hand. A wave of pressure crashed into my mind. Sandstorms swallowing caravans. A city buried in an hour. Black tents etched with forbidden symbols. Fire raining from the sky. A king with eyes sewn shut, chanting until my ears bled. And beneath it all, a structure. A buried temple. A black stone ziggurat ringed with faceless statues. The vision ended. I collapsed to my knees. When I looked up, they were gone. But in the sand remained their footprints. Not human. Elongated. Three-toed. Drag marks trailing behind, as if they had been pulled from the earth itself. I ran. Back in Dubai, I tried to rationalize it. Heat hallucinations. Psychological stress. Isolation. I told everyone I'd seen a mirage. But I couldn't stop researching. I visited the Dubai Museum, scoured archaeology journals, and contacted a professor at the American University of Sharjah who specialized in pre-Islamic Gulf civilizations. Dr. Lina Al-Farsi listened carefully. "You're not the first to report things in the desert," she said. "Bedouin elders speak of al-Maraki, shadow beings. The empty quarter has long been considered cursed." She paused when I described the symbols. "These are not Arabic," she said quietly. "But I've seen something similar. An inscription near the Oman border. It read, 'Do not wake the sleepers beneath the skyless sands.'" She met my eyes. "The desert is patient," she said. "But it remembers. It's been 3 weeks. I haven't posted anything. Deleted my accounts. Told everyone I'm leaving Dubai. But I can't. Last night, sand tapped against my window. Deliberate. Rhythmic. In the alley below stood a figure. Tall. Robed. Faceless. It held a drone propeller. Mine. Every evening at 6:14, the lights flicker. Sand gathers in the corners of my room, forming faint, rising shapes. They're waiting. It's 6:10 p.m. The sand is flowing under my door. 6:13 p.m. The light turns gold. 6:14 p.m. A shadow rises. Its face splits open. Inside, I see the dunes, endless and breathing. They are not cursed. We are. The golden hour is not an illusion. It is a threshold. And I am crossing it.
The desert doesn't chase you. It doesn't scream, or warn, or reveal its secrets all at once. It waits. Maybe what appeared at sunset was never meant to be understood. Only acknowledged. A reminder that some places are older than our cities. Older than our stories. And far less forgiving. We like to believe the world has been mapped. Measured. Conquered. But beneath the sand, beneath the towers and the lights, there are things that remember what came before us. And what we buried to build on top of it. So if you ever find yourself watching the sun sink into the dunes, and the air goes quiet in a way that feels wrong, don't assume you're alone. Because the golden hour isn't just a moment of beauty. It's a threshold. And once it opens, something may be watching you cross it. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your footsteps light. And remember, some places don't want to be explored. They want to be remembered. Hey, horror fans. If you enjoyed our chilling tale and want to keep the spine-tingling stories coming, don't forget to hit that like button. Your support keeps the darkness alive. Share this video with your friends, let's spread the fear together. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, so you never miss a hair-raising moment. Join our community of thrill seekers and prepare for more eerie adventures. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay scared.